boogeyman.
Run, Randy, run!
Welcome to the Inferno. I'm Papa John, and I'm here to guide you through all the hellish sides of horror. And today we are finishing the Fear Street series with 1666, Part 3 of the Fear Street series. And it's been somewhat divisive. I've seen people actually saying it's their favorite of the trilogy. I've seen people saying it's easily their worst, their least favorite. And it feels to be the most divisive among the trilogy, the three films. And so here's my opinion, and let's get into it. The first thing I gotta say is I actually really loved the setting of the movie. I was a little hesitant because of it's completely different in tone, subgenre, just everything about it just seems completely different from the first two movies, and yet it still did a good job of making it feel like it belongs in the same trilogy, even though it's completely different. And so I did think it did a great job with that. And I found the 1666 aspect of this movie extremely compelling. I love the story they told. I do think the acting is actually a lot better. You have basically returning actors here, and I think the acting actually improved, especially from the 1994 actors and actresses. The lead actress, I thought she did amazing. I thought she did a lot better than she did in 1994. I really enjoyed it. However, I don't really get why they had to be the same actors other than maybe budgetary reasons. I get what they were going for by having them be the same actors. I really only think the main actress, Dina, I believe, or the character Dina, should have been the one in the witch's body. That I agree with, and I loved that they did that with the main character and the witch, and putting the main character from 1994 in that role. But in terms of the side characters, having her 1994 brother play Sarah Fier's brother, it just didn't entirely work for me. But I do think performance-wise, they did a better job. And I love how they kind of went about doing the witch trials and all of the reasonings and stuff. It did feel a little over the top and on the nose, but I thought they pulled it off fairly well. You got some nice horrific moments, especially when they kind of discover the witchcraft and witchery when they enter like the school or whatever, or the chapel, and all the kids' eyes are gouged out. I loved that scene from a horror standpoint. And honestly, the standout for me for this trilogy is Tommy. He was a great kind of killer slasher in 1978. And then here, being the Tommy guy that he is in this movie, I loved it as well. He was just a very nice, just side character in both of those movies. And so overall, I really did enjoy the 1666 stuff. However, I do think it suffered from the fact that I really, truly believe they had a plan, or they had stories for a quadrilogy rather than just a trilogy, but they were only granted a trilogy. That is exactly what it feels like to me. And I think this movie sort of suffers from that, because I think the first half, the 1666 aspect, I think if you turn that into a full-blown movie, obviously you'd have to maybe add a couple things here and there, but overall, I think you could easily add some stuff there, and it would make it it would have made it just a great movie. You flesh some stuff out more, you add a couple things here to add some development, and I think it would have really benefited that movie, and I think it would have benefited the 1994 Part 2 aspect as well, which I'm going to get into now. Initially, I actually started hating it because I thought kind of the stoner guy, Martin, I believe, felt really out of tone to me. He felt like he belonged more in like Scary Movie than he did in this. But it stopped bothering me after a while, and he started to blend in a little more, mesh a little better with the other characters. I thought it was a fun, badass type of stuff going on, but there were some things that just felt odd because these monsters are supposed to be attracted to blood, and they don't seem to be attracted to the squirt guns that have the blood in the containers, but once it squirts out of the containers, all of a sudden they're attracted to it. It felt very odd. So even though I did really enjoy this 1994 Part 2 aspect, I really would have loved to have seen sort of this pursuit, kind of on the run, on the lam type of movie, like full movie of them on the run, trying to get away from Sheriff Nick Good, even throw in Mayor Will Good, which is another thing is the curse seemed to have ended before Will Good died. I know he died before the movie ended, but the curse had already ended by that point. And I feel like they should have killed pretty much all of the Good family, at least the Blood family, before the curse actually stopped and everything went away. That's what it seemed like from their descriptions should have happened. But nonetheless, they still both died by the end of the movie, I guess. So that's probably just too much nitpicking from me. So overall, I think Part 3 is a little better than Part 1, but not quite as good as Part 2. So what Circle of Hell does Fear Street 1666 belong in? I did really enjoy this one, but I do think it suffers structurally because it really feels like this should have been a 4-part series rather than a 3-part series to me. And you just add some stuff into both halves of this movie to kind of flesh them out, add some more excitement in there so it doesn't feel dragged out. And that way you'd have 2 great movies rather than just one pretty good movie. But I still really enjoyed this movie, and I do think it belongs in the second Circle of Hell within the various degrees of greatness. Go ahead and tell me your thoughts on Fear Street Part 3, 1666 in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this review, go ahead and smash that thumbs up icon, smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell as well. And to my fellow YouTubers that I comment on, I won't be commenting as much over the next couple of weeks because I probably won't be watching many YouTube videos over the next couple of weeks because I am an Olympics nut. But I will get back to it after the Olympics are over. And so always have one hell of a good time.